All right, so we are in algebra. Today's date is May 6th on a Monday. So write down May 6th, 2019. Yes.
So is tomorrow's lesson is it going to be kind of similar to this?
Wait, did I get
It is similar to this. Instead of doing the algebraic analysis, we're doing a graphical analysis.
Okay.
Do I get my XP for the teacher error of the date?
Sure. You can log it as well.
What?
Even though, yeah, I'll give it to you.
Wait, can I report that Gunner didn't actually find this teacher? He just wants to get XP. No.
So, all right, guys, come on. So, factored form. There are three forms that you need to know. There's factored form, there's vertex form, and on the back, there's standard form. You need to know everything about them. So, here we go. And tonight's homework, we have two assignments. One of them is the strategy on how to find certain things. So, what is the easiest thing to find? That's the first homework assignment. What's easiest to find for here? Easiest to find, easiest to find. That's one homework assignment. The other homework assignment is finding the vertex and x-intercepts of all of these different forms. So make sure you know how to do vertex and x-intercepts. I will be going through these slowly with you. Here we go. So I don't know what the date got changed. It's May 6th. So factored form, quiet raised hand. What is the easiest thing to find in factored form? You have three choices. Is it the y-intercept? Is it the x-intercept? Or is it the vertex? What is the easiest thing to find right here? Factored form. Gunner.
Y-intercept?
Good guess, but no.
X-intercept?
You can't just keep guessing them, rattling them off. But good guess. Andres?
The vertex.
Good guess again. It's the other one, Fernando.
X-intercept?
It is the x-intercept. Thank you, Fernando.
I thought it wasn't going to be the x-intercept.
All right, everyone write down Fernando's x-intercepts. All right, and how do I find those x-intercepts? With another quiet raised hand. What is set to 0, Cohen? What is set to 0, anyone, in order to find the x-intercepts? Josie.
Fx.
Yeah, that f of x, which is sometimes called a y, and we'll set that to 0. So let's do that now. So Josie is setting 0, or plugging in, substituting 0 for fx, and we're going to rewrite the right-hand side. X plus 2, x plus 6. Yeah, thank you, Josie. And I can get your card now. All right, what do I do from here? This should be review. If it's not, that's not a good thing. Andres, yes.
So you said the precipitation, you said x plus 2 to 0 and x plus 6 to.
And what does that mean our answers are going to be, Andres?
They're going to be x and 1. Or
X is going to be...
x is going to be -2 and x is going to be -6.
There it is. Thank you, Andres. All right, so it is really easy to find those x-intercepts. All right, so how do I find the vertex? And I'm assuming when I'm finding the vertex, I've already found the x-intercepts because they were so easy to find. And this is, again, is review. I think we first learned this in 16-2, I want to say. So if you don't know how to find the vertex, look back to your notes, 16-2. How do I find the vertex? If I have the x-intercepts already, what do I do? Gunner.
Calculate the precipitation.
No. The vertex. I'm going to first find the x, and then I'm going to find the y. But how do I find the x, Cohen? We already set something to 0, and that is the first step, but I guess now we're finding the vertex. I'm finding the x-coordinate of the vertex, so we'll say vertex, the x-coordinate. I can give you a hint, Cohen. So on a graph, what we just found here for the x-intercepts is we found this -2 and this -6. I know the vertex is going to be somewhere right there, but I need to find the x-coordinate of that vertex. What am I supposed to do? Ooh, that's a good guess again, and that is our formula when we have standard form. So if I could write that down, that would be good. So I'll give you the XP for trying. Do you want to call on someone else, Cohen, or do you want to keep going? All right, go for it. Yeah, and what are x1 and x2? What did we already just find in the last step? There it is. So everyone write it down. This is just x1 plus x2, all of that divided by 2. And this is just a formula. But if you don't need the formula, that's even better. What I'm trying to say here in this formula is, hey, try to find the midpoint between here and here. Can anyone just eyeball between -2 and 6 and be like, I think the middle is about negative blank. Can anyone just eyeball it without doing the math? Monse? You're really close. -3 is right here, and -5 is right here. That's one apart. What's in between -3 and -5? Ah, there it is. Yeah, thank you, Monse. Yeah, so you don't need this formula. If you can eyeball it, that is just perfect. So let me come back here, Monse. You have it correct. So this is going to be equal to us. For us, this is going to be equal to -2. I'll do this in green, I think. -2 plus -6, all divided by 2. -2 plus -6 is a -8 divided by 2, and -8 divided by 2 is -4. But you could have found -4. You can eyeball this, so I'll make this note here. This doesn't need a formula. I can't spell formula. Formula. You can just eyeball it. I'll say eyeball. Just eyeball it. If you can look on the graph, of course, it's kind of hard when you make your own graph that isn't to scale. Thank you, Monse. You could just eyeball it. All right, so I just found the vertex, the x-coordinate. I now need to find the vertex, the y-coordinate. So we'll say vertex. We're trying to find the y of the vertex. And whenever you're trying to find the y of the vertex, unless it's just given to you in vertex form, it's going to be the same rule over and over. Once you get the x, how do I get the y? Does anyone remember? Again, if you don't remember, 16-2 has our answer. How do I find the y-coordinate of the vertex? Monse again, yeah. There it is. Write it down. Plug it in. Plug in, I guess, the x. So let's do that. So we just found -4. Here's our equation. In this equation, I'm going to rewrite it, but in the place of each of these x's, I'm going to rewrite a -4. So f of x is equal to, and x is -4, -4 plus 2 times -4 plus 6. All I did was I rewrote our equation from up here, but plugging in -4. So if I guess I can highlight this -4 and make it green and green, and I can also make an arrow that said, hey, this -4 got plugged in here and also got plugged in right here. All right, I now need a volunteer to simplify this for me. What is -4 plus 2? What is -4 plus 6? Andres, yeah.
So for -4 plus 2, it's -2.
Okay.
And then for the second one, it's
2, all right.
2 positive 2.
Yeah, so now I need to multiply those together. You want to do that for us again, Andres?
So that would be -4.
-4, yeah. So our final answer here is -4. Yeah, Andres.
Can't you just do this, like, can you just, can't the answer just be what you get for the vertex of x?
No, I mean, they randomly just happen to be the same number, but that won't always be the case. So that was important. That was important. We got the x-coordinate and the y-coordinate. So the vertex was actually at -4, comma, -4. That was our vertex. I guess that should be in parentheses like this. So the x-coordinate was -4. The y-coordinate just happened to also be -4. All right, ask me questions because you're going to have a homework assignment on this in like 15 minutes. No? All right. I mean, it should be review, so hopefully there are no questions. Since I didn't get any questions, I need to see a fist of 5. How well are you following? 2, 4, 4, 4, 5, 4, 4, 4, and 4. Okay, we're doing pretty good. Do you have a question, Gunnar? You gave me a 2.
No, that was a 4.
Oh, that was a 4. Okay, yeah, then our average was like a 4.3 or something.
Multiply it to XP.
All right, so vertex form. And I guess I should really be doing everyone but Jose. Do you guys want to say hi to Jose?
Oh, I know that.
Okay. All right. Vertex form. What is it easy to find? Again, you have 3 choices. X-intercept, Y-intercept, vertex. What is easy to find in the vertex form? Really? Only one person knows? Uh-oh. Fernando?
Wait, first step?
Say again?
Set the...
What is... I'm just looking for a word. I'm looking for X-intercept, Y-intercept, or vertex. In the vertex form, what is the easiest thing to find?
This is
X-intercept.
What?
X-intercept.
All right, Fernando, I can let you call on someone else.
X-intercept.
What?
Whoa.
No, me. It's just right there. Me.
Fernando, call on someone else.
Vertex.
There it is. In vertex form, vertex is the easiest thing to find.
Dude.
It is always easiest to find the vertex. So, Fernando, you still got some XP for trying. Thank you, Gunnar. All right, and what is the vertex of this thing? Does anyone remember what you do to this number, what you do to this number? Quiet raise hand. How do I find the vertex?
Wait.
Andres, tell us.
Can I also tell you what the formula is?
The formula for what?
For solving vertex form?
No, we're going to do that down here to find x-intercepts. But right now, I just want to know, what is the vertex? You can just eyeball it. You can look at this and say, oh, yeah. You just do this thing to this thing, this thing to this thing, and then you have the vertex. You don't even need to write any math. You just have the vertex.
It's an opportunity for double XP.
So you change the -2 to a positive 2?
Yep, so this is the opposite. So everyone, write this in your notes. Take the opposite right here. I can't spell opposite. Opposite. Opposite of this -2 in Andres, that is indeed correct, a positive 2. Well, what's the y coordinate now?
It's -36 divided by 2.
You're really close. It's even easier.
-36.
It's just -36. All right, thank you, Andres. In order to find the vertex, again, take the opposite of that inside of the parentheses. That's your x. My y is just whatever is outside. So this was my x. This was my y. Hopefully this is sounding a little bit familiar. Can you give me a head nod if that looks familiar? All right, we get lots of head nods, even though some of them are side to side, which I think still means a yes. All right, so of course I need to find x-intercepts. So how do I find those? Only one person, no. Whenever you're finding the x-intercept, over and over and over again, x-intercept means something is 0. What is that something that is set equal to 0? I'm going to call in someone new. I'm going to wait until I get someone new. Sorry, Andre. Sorry, Fernando. This should be really straightforward. In order to find x-intercept, Julian, the y is 0. So this f of x is the same thing as a y. So I'm going to do Julian's step. This f of x is now a 0. And I'm going to rewrite the rest of the equation. X minus 2 quantity squared minus 36. Thank you, Julian. And I do believe I saw Andres giving you help. Is that correct?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you, Andres, for helping him out.
Yeah. No problem.
All right. I need someone to solve. Someone do at least one step, if not 2. What am I going to do to solve here? Sergio, you want to go for it? Go for it.
Plus 36.
There it is. Plus 36 on both sides. Plus 36. And I now have 36 on the left-hand side. These 36 on the right-hand side canceled out. And now 36 is equal to this x minus 2 quantity squared. Thank you, Sergio. I now have your card. Proximo. What are we doing next? Fernando.
Square both sides.
Ooh, square. Starts with an R.
Wait, what? Square root? Yeah,
There it is. Square root both sides. So square and square rooting are the opposite functions. Right now this x minus 2 is being squared. I need to square root it. Yes, thank you, Fernando. All right, and this is the tricky bit. I'll give it to Fernando again. What do I have on the left-hand side? It is a trick question. Be careful.
On the
Left-hand side, what is this? What is this thing? Ooh, see, you fell for my trap.
6 plus or minus?
Ah, there it is. Plus or minus 6. Whenever you do a square root, forever and ever and ever in math, if you take the square root, you need to have plus or minus. The only time you will not have that is when there's a domain restriction. Like, for example, if I'm trying to find the side length of a square, it doesn't make sense for that square to have -2 inches, or -6 inches in this case. And then you say, okay, I made sure to do plus or minus, but I obviously know it's the plus and not the minus because I can't have -6 inches or whatever. Always do plus or minus from here on out. All right, and then on the right-hand side, of course, we have this x minus 2 squared. These square and square root cancel each other out. I'm left with just x minus 2. Question? Or just ready for the next step? All right. I'll wait for everyone to finish writing this. What is my final step here? Andres.
Okay, so you add 2 to both sides, and then you do 6 plus 2, which is 8, and then -6 plus 2, which is -4.
Yeah, and I'll slow down to make sure that everyone can follow that. So I still have that plus or minus 6. That plus or minus is attached to that 6. It's not going and switching to the 2. Plus and minus is always in front of the 6. Adding 2 just means I'm adding 2 to that plus or minus 6. What Andres is doing already for us is he's turning this into 2 different problems. The first problem was he chose the positive. So he says positive 6 plus 2, and he came up with 8. Andres then said, okay, what happens if I choose the negative? Then I get a -6 plus 2, and that gives me a -4. So those are our 2 x-intercepts. Technically, it should be 8, 0 and -4, 0, but I'm comfortable just leaving it like that and boxing them. Those are our 2 answers, 8 and -4. Thank you, Andres. All right, ask me questions if there's any confusion at all, Andres.
So what's the difference between like 8 and -4? Is it do you put both on like the same answer?
Yeah, so on Khan Academy, it'll only ask for one of them usually. And you'll just say 8 and not the -4, or -4 and not the 8. But if you were to graph this on tomorrow's lesson, you'll have to graph these and you'll say, okay, -4 is right there, 8 is all the way over here, and then I can actually graph those on the x-axis. And I'll just make that note here, just in case anyone wants to refer to this for tomorrow's note. These will be on the x-axis, which means the y-coordinate is 0. So it's 8, 0, -4, 0. All right. We have checked off 2 of them. We've done factored form, we've done vertex form, and finally, what I consider to be the most challenging is standard form. But it's also the most fun. You can solve it in the most ways. All right. It's easiest to find. Again, you have 3 choices: x-intercepts, y-intercepts, vertex. What is it easiest to find here? I'm calling on someone new. Sorry, Gunnar. Sorry, Andres. What is it easiest to find? I'll even circle it for you, and you will have to tell me what this thing is. There it is. What is that thing? Colin has already participated. I'm trying to get someone new. Someone that still has their card. I believe that someone is either Eder or Jenny. Yeah, Jenny.
Y-intercept.
There it is. Yeah, y-intercept.
Oh, and Gunnar helped me with that one.
All right, thank you, Jenny. So 50, Jenny also reported it, and Gunnar also helped. there it is. The y-intercept is 8. So it's technically 0, 8 if we're being super formal about it. But yeah, 8. 8 on the y-axis. You can think about this thing. This is on the y-axis. On y-axis. All right. But that is kind of unhelpful because I need to find the x-intercepts and vertex. And I did not find either of those two things by having that easy y-intercept. So now I have to do a bunch of work to find x-intercepts. All right. And again, it's the same thing over and over. To find x-intercepts, what thing is equal to 0? Literally one person has their hand raised. 2 people, 3 people. Sergio.
Y.
Yep, set y to 0. So set y equal to 0, which means I now have 0 is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 8. Oh no. That's still kind of hard to solve. Does anyone remember what to do from this step? Bit of review from like a few days ago, Fernando. Ninja star. There it is. And I'm just going to say here factor, because factor in itself has 2 steps. So again, factor has I'll say step A and step B. Step A is always starts with a G, 3 letters, GCF. So let me backlog here. Fernando, 50, Monse, 50. And then finally, Fernando's Ninja Star.
Teacher, it's advanced ninja star. I think we should.
I think from now on, yes, you are right, and I'll give that to you. But I think from now on, I'm just going to say Ninja Star, and let's always assume that it's Advanced Ninja Star. Because we don't normally do Ninja Star ever again for the rest of your math career. We're always going to be doing Advanced Ninja Star. All right, so does this have a GCF? You can shout it out. Does it have a GCF?
No.
No. Thank you, Josie. It does not have a GCF, which means I start my Advanced Ninja Star. So chunk, chunk, chunk. There's my Advanced Ninja Star. I need a volunteer with a quiet raised hand. Tell me how to set up that Advanced Ninja Star. I see Andres' hand. Yeah, Jenny, go for it.
8 on top and -6x.
Oh, just the -6 is fine. We're going to take the coefficient. What about the top left and top right?
X.
There it is. Yeah, thank you, Josie. Or not Josie, Jenny. All right, Jenny set it up. Who is going to solve it for us? What times what is 8? That also adds to -6, Andres.
-4, -2.
-4 and -2 is correct because negative times a negative is a positive, and then when I add up these negatives, it does turn into a -6, which means I can now come, I'll use still blue here. 0 is still equal to, I'm still looking at this line right here. I'm rewriting that line and saying, okay, this is now factored as x minus 4, x minus 2. And I know that you guys are really advanced now. You don't need to show all of your steps from here. You can just tell me straight on what the answers are. Can anyone see what they are just from here? Montse?
X equals 4 and x equals 2.
There it is. And we'll box those. Those are our x-intercepts. Thank you, Montse. I realized that I never went back and changed the spelling of your name. I need to go fix that. All right, that's half the battle. Second half of the battle is finding the vertex. Ask me questions about finding the x-intercepts of standard form. Otherwise, we're moving on. All right, and finally, finding the vertex. There are 2 ways to do this. Cohen told us one way. Do you remember what that was, Cohen? 2a, there it is. Yeah, so let's all write that one down. So we need to find the x-coordinate of the vertex. So I'm going to say vertex, we're looking for the x-coordinate. And Cohen gave us the handy-dandy formula, x equals to -b divided by 2a. And that is perfect because I can do the vertex immediately. But there's also the old-fashioned way. Like if I have x-intercepts, look up here. I have x-intercepts, I can do this formula again. x1 plus x2 divided by 2. I can just look for the middle. You can do the same procedure for factored form. So I'm going to make this note, but we're going to go on with Cohen's way, or the same steps as factored form. Cool. All right, so I'm going to plug in, or actually someone else is going to help me plug in what are B, or what is B, what is A? So we have our formula, our equation right here. In this equation, what is A, what is B? What is A, what is B? Fernando.
A is x squared.
Ooh, careful, it's the coefficient. So A is the thing right in front of this, which is,
1.
yeah, A is 1. And what about B?
Negative 6.
B is negative 6. Go ahead and annotate your formula up there, let you know that A is 1, B is negative 6. I'll plug that in for you, Fernando. So B is negative 6, because there's always this negative out front, and we also have a double negative. I still have this 2. Oops. And then A was 1. All right. Can someone simplify this for me? Andres?
6 over 2.
6 over 2, which is
3.
3. Yeah, double negatives, those cancel out, so you can put that if you would like. When there's a double negatives, they turn into a positive. And then 6 divided by 2 is indeed 3. So that's the x-coordinate of the vertex. Next, I'm going to do the y-coordinate of the vertex. I'll say vertex. I'm looking for the y-coordinate now. And I've said this on repeat. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time I've said this. Whenever you're looking for the y-coordinate of the vertex and you have the x-coordinate of the vertex, what do you do? Only 2 people have raised their hands. 3 people. Oh gosh, maybe I need to repeat myself more and more. Jessica. Plug it in. Write it down. Plug in. Plug in. And then, Jessica, can you help me do that? I'll write it out a little bit for us. F of x is equal to, what am I going to write on the right-hand side?
3 squared.
So there's that 3 squared. Yep, minus 6 times 3. Perfect, thank you. So again, that 3 got plugged in here, and it got plugged in over here. Thank you, Jessica. And again, if you're wondering where these numbers came from, I'm just rewriting the formula up here. Squared minus 6 plus 8. All right. And we're basically there. I just need someone to simplify and we'll be done with the notes. Andres, finish us off.
So 9 minus 18 plus 8.
Cool, I'll pause there. You're going to do the next step again. Make sure everyone can follow that step. All right, Andres, continue.
So it equals 17.
17? Oh, wow, you simplified it so fast. Let's do negative 9 plus 8 first, right?
Oh, wait. 9. Wait, isn't it 9 minus 18?
Yep, what is 9 minus 18?
Negative 9.
Yep. And then next step is going to be,
Plus 8.
and that'll give us,
Oh, that's 1.
negative 1, right?
Oh, negative 1.
There it is. Thank you, Andres. And we're done with the note because our answer, the x-coordinate of the vertex was 3, the y-coordinate was 1. So our final answer is 3, comma, negative 1. In parentheses, box it, that is the vertex. All right, everyone was able to participate today, which means everyone gets 100 XP. Are there any questions before we start on the homework? Let's finish writing our summaries. Yeah, question, Andres.
So find the vertex, you just like first you find the x coordinate and then the y coordinate, and then those would be like
X, comma, Y.
so the x will be on the x-axis and then the y.
It won't be on the x-axis. So if I'm looking on a graph here, I go out 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I go down 1 right here. So this point right here will be the vertex. The vertex is at 3, comma, negative 1. 3, comma, negative 1 is this point.
Yeah, but what about like when you do a parabola?
A parabola?
Yeah.
That is going to be the vertex. So this vertex will look like this, and it'll come up this way. And we know where the x-intercepts are. Also, the x-intercepts are at 4 and 2. So at 2 and 4, so we know that the parabola will look like that.
I was kind of confused.
So in terms of the x-intercepts will always be on the x-axis, but the vertex will be just anywhere. Sorry, if you ask your question maybe a different way, I can answer it a different way. All right, with that, go ahead and finish writing your summaries. The assignment is already up on Khan Academy. And if you want paper homework, that is ready to go. I just need to print it out. I just need to hit Command P. Does anyone want paper homework on these?
Power.
You can use your power, yeah. Sergio, you want paper homework? Anyone else? I have 1, 2, 3. Sergio, Jessica, Montse, 4. All right, 4 paper homeworks.